Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart. This is your source for exceptional video analysis of stocks, ETFs, and indices. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, July 8th. We're going to take a look at the market action of the last 2 days, and we have had some action. And then we're going to look at the international indices with pretty good focus on China, and just because of everything that's been happening there. And we're going to look at some ETFs that we haven't looked at before, some international ETFs. I think we'll find that interesting. And then 3 stocks tonight: Adobe, Las Vegas Sands, and Wynn. All 3 of these I have trade ideas on, and we'll take a look at that. Okay, let's start off here with the Dow. The Dow was down 261 points today after this huge whipsaw day yesterday, where it went all the way down and came all the way back up and closed above the high of the previous day, which was what? That was Monday, right? 6, yes. So here we are thinking that we've got some kind of turnaround day, and then it comes all the way back down. Now, if it were to break this low, I was looking for this to happen this afternoon. If this were to break this low of this kind of a bar, which was really kind of a bullish bar, really, in here in terms of reversal, I view that as extremely negative. Now, it happened on the New York Composite, and I think it may have happened on one other index. We're going to take a look. Now, the negative thing, there's several things going on here. The negative is that it closed down below the support in here that I viewed as a support zone, okay? So it closed there today, and I view that as a negative because it couldn't hold. Now, we penetrated through it, kind of broke it yesterday, and now we closed down below it. Now, on the positive side, we're getting some divergence coming in on RSI. Now, this is the type of divergence, it's not oversold, that it could break through this trend line and just throw that divergence right out the window. But we're seeing it on the demand index. We're not seeing it on DI-. So 2 out of the 3 indicators we're seeing some bullish divergence on. All right, let's take a look at the S&P 500. And now the S&P a little bit different. We're right at that support zone. And the SPX did not break the low yesterday. 2044.02 low. 2044.66 today, but we closed right almost on the low, just fractionally off. And we're right at the top of this resistance zone, and we're right at the 233-day moving average. Now, everybody, the moving averages, I use the Fibonacci, 233, the 55, the 21. And a lot of folks use the 200-day, the 50-day, and the 20-day. And that's fine. But my point here is you can see how this bounced right off of, literally went right to the 233-day yesterday, and basically that was the low again today. But it's right in where this zone is. Now, we break through this zone, I think the next support area is all the way down here. I don't see another support to be generated until we get down to here. And are we seeing a little divergence coming in? Let's take a look. A little bit. Well, we're not done with this move yet. Okay. Now, no divergence between this point and this point, as opposed to on the Dow. We were getting that, and no divergence showing up here. So no, not really here. And I wanted to take a look. We'll take a look at the SPY ETF. Similar type thing. And again, same picture. We're right at this zone, right at this support area. We don't hold here. We're going to drop down to here, 198 to 99, or 198 to 198 and 3/4, wherever, in that area, okay? We don't hold there. The next support zone's all the way down here, 181 and 182. So one step at a time, but this is the picture that's developing. We'll just have to see what kind of support we get. All right, the next one we're going to take a look at is the NASDAQ. And here we are. And the NASDAQ, similar type scenario. I think the NASDAQ may have taken, let me blow it up a little bit. I think it may have taken out the low yesterday, the low 4902.21. Yeah, so we took out the low. The low today was lower than yesterday's low. Now, again, this was not such a bullish reversal type bar as the other ones on the other indices, because this did not close above the previous day, and it's more of a doji type bar. So not nearly the same dynamics going on there. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000, and then that'll do it for our United States indices. And again, a similar type picture. The Russell and the NASDAQ are almost doing the same type thing. I mean, look at how you had the same doji bar, and then you close down here like this. All right, let's take a look at our short-term trading index. And the interesting thing on the short-term trading index is that we did get the 10-day to close above the green line, above 1.5. It is at 1.58. And notice the high reading on the trend, okay? We've had, when we had high readings like that, closing trend readings of 3.21 and closing here 3.57, closing 3.45. Notice we had over here, we have the potential for being very close to a bottom, okay? So here's January 28th, and we'll see what kind of, and let's go back to the Dow. January 28th was right here, okay? On this low, we got a bounce, came back down, got some follow through down, and then rallied, okay, and rallied off of that. Now, the other one prior to that, 1.58, same moving average reading, was on this bar on December 10th. Notice how we had several more days of selling before we bottomed. So you just never know. And honestly, previous to that, when I looked back, I had to go back to February, and it was this bar right here had a similar type scenario set up, and it was basically the low of the move. So you just don't know. The only thing that I'm viewing as the thing I'm viewing as negative is the fact that we're closing below this support zone, okay? But we've got to be aware of the fact that some of our indicators are saying, maybe something's going on. Do I not have the VIX? I think I forgot to pull the VIX up. Let me grab the VIX real quick. Okay, so here's the VIX, and big bullish move and high close, the high close of this whole cluster, okay? And we closed above the last 3 days high, yesterday's high. So pretty bullish looking move on the VIX. Let's take a look at DI plus is kind of giving us some divergence signal here. And you could say the same thing on the RSI, but sometimes when you have this kind of a picture, it's just because this could keep going and this could come right on up, and you need another turning point to tell you for sure that this is a divergence point, okay? Because I think you know what I mean. you got to have it create the point before it confirms that it's really a pivot point there and a divergence, kind of like right here and right here. Well, we haven't turned down yet. We could easily just keep pushing up tomorrow. So that's the VIX, and let's go to the high-low. Here we go, the high-low. All right, so yesterday we had a lower, not quite as low reading as we did back here on June 29th, and then we pulled up a little bit today. Now we had 206 more new lows than new highs, so again, the negative, but we're not confirming the move on the indices lower here. So here's another potential little signal that something might be going on. We just have to wait and see what happens. Does it continue to bounce up, or does it break back? It could easily break right back down through this. And last one in terms of indicators we'll take a look at is the high yield bond fund. And it is continuing to show, trending down, the exiting of the high yield bond fund, selling it off. And let's see. I know what I was going to mention on this. What I wanted to mention was we're seeing a little bit of divergence coming in here. But again, this could break through. We just have to watch. Does this hold or not? But between this move and this move, we're getting some divergence on the RSI, and Same thing, I think you could say on DI minus. It really didn't go higher with this move. And let me make sure of that. I'm pretty sure that's the case. This reading's 41, this reading's 41. Yeah, so we're exactly the same. So some divergence showing up in here. So that could also be a signal. So we're going to have to watch pretty closely. And I'll just have to, see what's going on with these puts in the morning first thing. All right, let's take a look in how the market's setting up. Let's take a look at Germany. All right, so Germany here is continuing to trend. Notice I had this circled. That's because over the last couple of weeks on Wednesday, when I've talked about Germany, I've continued to say, well, it looks like it's trending down, but it needs to take out this low to continue to say that we're having a lower lows with the lower highs and lower lows, and etc. So it did. It did that yesterday. It broke right below the low on a close, and then we just got a little pause type bar in here. So right now, I'm viewing this area as support. Right below in here, I'm viewing as support. You can almost draw one in the middle of it too, but I put one here. And then the next zone right here, because you're really at the top of this and at the top of this one should be some kind of support zone if this doesn't hold. So we'll see. The bottom line is the DAX is trending down right now. The next one is the Shanghai Composite. All right. This one, I have changed my wave count because this pullback just doesn't seem like a wave 4. It's too dramatic, too hard down. Now, here's what I had before. Let me explain what I had. I have now changed this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 waves complete, impulse wave from this low back here in March 2014. Okay. Now, I had this as a 1, 2, 3, looking for a 4th pullback. So here's my alternate count, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm keeping this as an alternate count only because this wave, this pullback, has not gone below the high of what would have been wave 1 right here. Now, if you're somewhat familiar with Elliott wave, I think you know what I'm talking about, because wave 4 can never overlap wave 1 and keep a consistent impulse wave structure going, okay? And right now it hasn't invalidated that yet. Now, if this breaks on down below this high, which I'm pretty much expecting it to, then this whole thing is out the window and invalidating. So that's why I've moved to this one here. And I really need to take a look at the longer term picture on China, because when I glanced at it earlier, it looks pretty interesting, and we'll see see if I can't have a separate video that just focuses on that in the longer term picture. Now, Shenzhen, which is more of a NASDAQ type high-tech index in China, really smashing down. I don't have a wave count on it, but boy, you can just see. I mean, look, 1884, and we closed at 3140, and we're talking about less than a month ago that we were almost literally cut the thing in half in less than a month. I mean, that's incredible. And the next one we wanted to take a look at is Hong Kong, which is the Hang Seng index. And look at this. I mean, the Hang Seng had been pretty much holding its own, and then all of a sudden it has just really collapsed too. Of course, these are highs here in late April, May, and then this is just like falling off a cliff in here, and clearly broke this trend line. And this trend line on Hong Kong is from all the way back in here, 2 years ago. So this is like a 2-year trend line, and it broke it, closed below it yesterday. Pretty substantial break on the intraday move, so very negative. All right, let's take a look at some of the ETFs, the emerging markets ETFs. So here's the MSCI Emerging Markets. That's the EEM. So you can see what's going on with this, because this has some Chinese stocks in it, and it's got a mixture. I mean, it's got some Hong Kong, Chinese, Taiwan. So it's got some of these stocks in it, and you can see how dramatic this has just broken down also. If I were to take this trend line here, very substantial break. The last 3 days have just been incredible. And the next one is EFA. That's the one I wanted to take a look at. Now, what this is a these are large to mid cap stocks that are outside of the United States and Canada. Okay, large international stocks, and so this is not just focused. This is, I think, has kind of a European and other blend of international stocks, but you can see how hard it is getting hit also, and dropping off in a cliff here. I mean, just especially the last 2 weeks. And let's see. I want to take a look at Japan, and Japan is catching a little bit of the fever from China, and you could see the huge break in EWJ that happened yesterday. Again, all of these ETFs, these international ETFs, if you're not familiar with them, they're extremely liquid. This one averages 30 million shares a day over the last 50 days. 50-day average is 30 million shares traded on this. So very, very liquid ETFs, but you can see what happened in terms of the big gap down. Now, I am looking for support to come in, and if support doesn't hold here, then this is really going to break down even further. Let's see. And then the last one we'll take a look at is back into China again with the China Large Cap FXI. And this is just, of course, reflecting what's been happening with Shanghai and Shenzhen. And you can see this trend line from March of 2014. Very, very clear trend in here, and just broke right through it like it wasn't even there. I mean, just barely got a pause on the 6th, which is Monday, and then it just kept falling. So pretty negative picture on these indices. Definitely a strong crash, which is why, when I started looking at, the Shanghai Composite and what I was looking for a picture, I typically a wave 4 is not this severe. Typically, a wave 4 is more shallow like this, and the wave 2 is more of a deeper one. So you kind of say, well, it's not very big. But if you move back here, you would kind of say, well, okay. I mean, this is 200 points, and then it pulls almost back and retraced almost the whole thing. But we'll see. We'll see how this plays out, and that's the picture I've got for now. And then the 3 stocks I wanted to take a look at tonight are Adobe. I need to wrap this up here pretty quick. Adobe, we got in on this day, I believe, on the 1st, breaking the lows in here. It's been trending down below. I'm still looking for this to turn down, although it hasn't accelerated as much as I would like it to. And today was kind of a doji bar in here, but we're still got puts. And we're into the details of everything in terms of the puts we've got and the entries, targets, stops, all that good stuff's on the Trade Ideas webpage, which is on the website. First name and email, and you're good to go to have access. The next one is Las Vegas Sands. Las Vegas Sands and Wynn were 2 that I put out today. And the entry on Las Vegas Sands was to get puts. It was at 55.31. And, that happened right about in here. And it continued to push on down. It closed below yesterday's low. So even though we had this big bullish bar and we had a little moving average cross, I'm skeptical of this whole setup because I just am not convinced yet that this thing is moving higher. And then this entry was a specific setup, or is a specific setup that I have. And so you can see how this has reversed here. So looking for it to do that and at least get some continuation over the next couple of days. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one is Wynn Resorts. Here we go. All right, so similar type setup on Wynn Resorts, and the entry on this was 109.85. It actually opened slightly below that, and so got into the puts right away, right off the bat, and the stock continued to just sell off. And again, this was a specific setup, very similar, identical to the way I had it on LVS. And so far it's gone our way. Did not close below yesterday's low. That is what I would like to have seen. So We'll see how it continues to move, expecting it to come back down. Okay, that's it for tonight. I'll be back on Saturday with a weekend update, and I'll probably have a couple more stock chart analysis focusing on individual stocks here over the next couple of days. So if you're watching this video anywhere besides my website, head on over to the website, check out the posts, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Gives you access to the Trade Ideas webpage and a free PDF I've got for you. So again, Beyond the Chart, your source for exceptional video analysis of stocks, ETFs, and indices. Everyone have a great Thursday, Friday, and thanks for stopping by.